Thank you very much, Irina, and good morning or afternoon to everyone here. My name is Yusuff Kaffo. I work for the University of Salford in Manchester. I'm the regional manager, so looking after the business development for the university, both in sub-Saharan Africa actually, and also in India. Now, in terms of over the next few minutes, I'm just going to quickly go over a couple of points in terms of higher education institutions looking to enter the Nigerian market for the first time. Now, Nigeria as a country is actually one of the most populous country in Africa. There is lots of opportunities for entering into the market. It's mainly based on oil when it comes to the resources. Oil is its biggest in terms of income, and also the banking, the finance and banking sector, and also telecoms as well. Unfortunately, obviously, during the economic crisis 2-3 years ago, it took a plummet, obviously due to the oil prices. However, the numbers currently and the statistics are showing improvement in Nigeria. So there are a lot of scope for entering the market. In terms of growth, I think as a university looking to enter the market, it's very promising because the numbers of when you look at the population, young population, so between 14 to around 24, is actually on the rise. Nigeria is hopefully by 2050 is going to be the third populous country in the world, and I think that to itself shows that there is kind of opportunities there for you entering into the market. Now, coming into kind of education, there are lots of schools at the primary school, secondary school, and also universities in Nigeria. There are private universities and also federal universities and state universities as well. The education system follows a 6-3-3 education system, which is 6 years of primary school, 3 years of the lower secondary school, and then 3 years of a senior secondary school as well. After the completion of the 6-3-3 system, the students can then enter into university in Nigeria. Now, based on their grade in the SSC, it's called the senior secondary school, they can enter into any of the universities. Most of the state or federal universities tend to be free or very cheap in terms of affordable in terms of tuition fees. However, increasingly, there are lots of a growing number of private universities as well in Nigeria, which are offering a little bit more to students. As a university, I mean, the University of Salford, I'll probably say over the last 5 to 7 years, has been one of the leading recruiter, I would say, in Nigeria. I think our location, our course profile, what we offer to the students and what they want is one of the reasons why we are one of the sought after university. Now, in terms of going back to Nigeria as a provision, so what do the students look for? Majority of the students will be asking to or looking for programs in engineering, in management, and in public health. Now, there are a range of programs, so from petroleum and mechanical engineering, civil engineering programs, and you've got kind of public health programs, which to do data science. So a range of programs in that the students want to apply for. Majority of the incoming students to the university are at the postgraduate level. So majority of them would have completed a degree in Nigeria, and they're looking to further their studies in a master's program and a PhD program. So that's what majority of students are looking for. In terms of the factors that the students look into, ranking is very important. However, I think what takes priority in some instances with some students is the kind of the return on investment. So they look at the tuition fee, they look at the scholarships available, they look at the opportunities for them after completion of the program. As the question before, which is about kind of job opportunities, these are the things that the students are looking for once they complete the program. So having a very good link to the industry like we do here at Salford really helps when promoting our program and promoting the university. Having highly ranked courses and programs helps as well. So for example, at Salford, our civil architectural department is is still within the top 100 in the world, and in 2017 top 6 in the UK. So that's a really big point for us when we're kind of talking to students and when they're looking when they're doing their research as well. Our engineering department top 200 in the world again. So these are the points, these are the things that the students are going to be looking for when they're doing their research. Okay. Other things include kind of placements and internships. Again, linking back to the return on investment for them. So they've come in to study, and what they're looking for is kind of what else can they get as well as their degree in the UK. There are obviously students as well for undergrad programs, mainly kind of in law and business, but also in architecture as well. So, but that is a small percentage, usually around maybe 20–25%, depending on which, what data you're using really when it comes to undergrad students from Nigeria. I think overall, in terms of how I operate in the market, is very interesting because Nigeria is a very kind of community, family orientated country. So a lot of the students will tend to go via using an education consultant, for example. So I work with a lot of different consultancy within Nigeria, all across the country as well. So really large multinational companies, and also really kind of state-based or city-based education consultants as well. So that's something to look into. In terms of travel in and around Nigeria, we as a university travel to the likes of Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. Now, apart from those 3 cities, the rest of Nigeria, I think for security concerns, you might be quite difficult to get into, but doesn't mean that you cannot do business within those cities. There are ways around that. But usually most kind of fairs that are organised, most meetings with the government agencies or scholarship bodies are mainly in Abuja, which is the capital, and also in Lagos as well. There are some scholarship bodies as well in Port Harcourt. Again, but I mean, the security concerns in those 3 cities, as long as obviously you're following the procedures and protocol of your security team or detail, then I would hope that everything should be fine to visit those cities as well. Just looking at my notes here, I think in terms of I would probably welcome some questions now, because it's a market where it's very prominent, very profitable, but also it's a market that is very exciting and at the same time challenging as well. Thank you, Irina.
Thank you very much as well, Yusuff, for the overview so far. And indeed, we do have some questions coming in related specifically to Nigeria. Several of them actually came even before your presentation, so I propose we tackle them now.
Yes.
One was related to visa challenges, and I think, for issuing visa for Nigerian students. Now, I know the UK has a long-lasting tradition of recruiting students from Nigeria specifically, but any comment from your side on the visa procedure, on how difficult or not it is for Nigerian students to get a UK visa?
Yeah, I think in terms of the visa process for Nigerian students coming to the UK, so since 2008-9, when the UK introduced kind of the Tier 4 point-based system, it's not as easy as it used to be. Basically, I think that's the point. So at the moment, there were over 18,000, well, over 12,000 Nigerian students in the UK. All with Tier 4 visas issued. So I don't think there is a challenge as such. I think what I would advise is students to do their research, and obviously making sure that they follow all the procedures and the steps given to them by the university that they are going to. From my experience, what I have seen in terms of doing kind of different research is that the visa refusal are mainly students who maybe have ignored an email from the university, not got their details in place, or there are last-minute students who are rushing to get, to come and study. Now, the fundamental really of the Tier 4 visa, I'll quickly mention, is that, you need to have 40 points. To get a CAS letter, so from the university, it's 10 points, 30 points, and also for your finances. That's the main thing. So once you get that, you've got your 40 points for visa. The other part is about credibility. So, you attend your interview, this application process, and as part of that, you need to do an interview perhaps. They'll ask you questions about, why do you want to go and study in the UK? Why do you want to study at the University of Salford? Why do you want to study the program? What are your plans after you complete your course? So these are questions that I feel that any student who's looking to invest in their future, spending, quite a substantial amount of money, should know the answers to these questions. So for me, I don't think there's much of a challenge. I think it is quite an easy, straightforward process, as opposed to the likes of, Canada, for example, New Zealand, where the numbers have actually have dropped or, slowing down as well. I hope that answers the question.
It's a lot of the preparation. Yeah, very clearly so. Another question we got was related specifically to the University of Salford and your own strategy for recruiting fee-paying students vis-a-vis what is very common for other universities in Europe. Students that are supported through scholarships. Can you elaborate a bit more on your recruitment strategy in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think, as a university, one of the things that we're trying to do here from Nigerian students is to provide an institution, a place for them to study, and hopefully to prepare them to enter the workplace. Fundamentally, our key strategy here at the University of Salford is based on industry collaboration project zones, which is where we are looking to ensure that all our programs have some form of industry placement or internship attached or linked to that. So we pioneer with, companies, organizations within the UK, within Manchester, within, but also internationally as well. And for us, the key thing is to not just give a student a theoretical approach to studying, but also the practicality as well of having that experience whilst they're on the campus. So all, if not 90, over 90% of our undergrad programs have a professional year of experience. Our business school, for example, has kind of internship and placements attached to the program as well. So I think for us, our key, point is to ensure that all our students, regardless of which nationality, are able to, to benefit from our pioneered partnerships. To gain that experience, to gain the kind of internship and placements, to enable them to enter a workplace and prepare them for life.
Okay, so it's very much related to the education offer, as well. Another question was related, I think, to differences we see sometimes in types of degrees in different countries, and I think it applies to the Nigerian case as well. The colleague that raised the question is working at an institution that is focusing on IT and biotechnology and informatics in general, and the comment was that the students coming in with a BAc degree in Nigeria, that is not immediately equivalent to a BAc in their own country. So they have to do some preparatory courses to be able to enter a master's degree in a European university, for example. And that quite often needs to overpass half a year, for example, of preparatory courses. Any experiences in the same fashion, or you don't really have this transition a problem in Salford?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, that question, because I think in the UK and for Salford, I think what we try and do, we work closely, collaboratively with our quality enhancement office and also our academic partners as well, teams as well. So what we try to do is ensure that, we look at the bachelor degree from Nigeria, and we've mapped it to be equivalent in most cases to a bachelor degree in the UK. Now, I think that will depend on the individual university and how they mapped the bachelor degrees. So, I mean, we don't have that issue here because majority of the students who completed their bachelor degree in Nigeria, so they've got a 4-year bachelor degree usually, can come directly into our programs. But that is based on the, substantial amount of work that's been done in the background previously based on mapping the programs. However, there are some courses where, if a student has done a science-related program, but for example, our MSc in occupational safety health program need some specific modules to have been studied. So within those kind of higher level or more niche programs, they may need to do some additional, program or modules. But most students coming in from Nigeria who have a bachelor degree can come directly into our programs.
Okay, thank you. There we got a follow-up question in the meantime from the colleague that asked about your strategy, the University of Salford strategy for attracting fee-paying students, and there's an emphasis on how you make sure you attract quality fee-paying students. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, I think as a university, one of the things we pride ourselves is to attract the best students. So from Nigeria, 3/4 of the kind of incoming students in the UK are self-funding. A quarter, the rest are kind of maybe scholarship students. Now, to attract the best students, obviously, we have to have the right things in place, so the right programs, the right professors, the right facility. But also, what we ask for is kind of when it comes to entry requirements. So they need to have kind of really good English language, which we kind of base in the UK to be the equivalent to what we would ask any UK student. But also, so when it comes to the degrees, it's something that is, again, the work that's been done by the quality team, by the academic department as well, to match and map the programs that they're coming in with. What we look at, obviously, with most students in Nigeria will have a bachelor degree, second class upper or lower. Some have a first class degree as well as a classification in the UK. So majority of our students, that's what we ask for. Where possible, we don't, when it comes to academic grade, we ask for, a second class bachelor degree. Now, not to obviously discriminate against students who have not done so well academically, or maybe they've studied, many years ago, is we can also have alternative routes to entry, but that's on a, case by case basis, looking at their previous maybe work experience or looking at their previous where they're currently working now as well.
Okay. Looking at the time as well, and we are very fast approaching the end of our allocated time. So I will raise a last question to you.
Okay.
A colleague was looking for advice potentially on for European universities willing to enter the Nigerian market for the first time, and also interested in cooperation with Nigerian universities, either for student-related matters, also for research. Any very short advice you could give on this question?
Yeah. Collaboration with universities in Nigeria is possible. We have 1 or 2 ourselves, and quite a lot of UK universities do have them. What I will say is you need to persevere. Nigeria is very bureaucratic, and as a country, in terms of the way the bureaucracy is set, you might find it very difficult to get to your end point sooner than that you would want. So I think it's to persevere. There are lots of federal universities. There is also private universities as well, that are based in areas where you can travel to. Also, you've got the Nigerian Universities Commission, the NUC, which oversees kind of the universities in Nigeria. So again, that'll be your first point of call if you want to. A lot of research collaborations are done at institutional level also. So if you were to have the link or the collaboration with a particular university, you can also kind of get that, you can also set it up yourself as well. So you don't really need to go at the government level. You can do institutional collaborations, but I would say it's just to persevere. It is possible, but there is very highly bureaucratic.
Okay. Thank you very much.